Welcome everyone to the Villin podcast, part of our Villin ENT group. We're basically just going to be talking about everything we can pertaining to Louisville and Kentucky, not necessarily just sports, which we're obviously well known for, but the lesser known things like our natural parks, our restaurants, musical artists. We have some blown up now, but there's a lot of local talent. So my name's Aaron.
I'm Jack.
Do you have anything else to add to the list?
Just like you said, art, music, businesses, local businesses is gonna be real big here. People just making change. Also, charities.
Yeah, we have some charities we want to discuss and help support. So that's basically what we're here trying to talk about. We're gonna try to make it weekly, and so this is our first show. So before we get really into anything, how was your weekend?
I had a great weekend. The family, we went saw a waterfall. We do that quite a bit. We try to find like a different waterfall or a trail or something to go see. And this past weekend we went to Fairmont Falls.
Fairmont Falls. Where's that at?
It is off Thixton Lane, kind of off Old Mount Washington. But it's real nice. It's real kind of private. You can reserve it. You and your family just go up there. Up to 2 or 3 people, 2 or 3 carloads can reserve a day, so it's pretty limited. If you're familiar with Tioga Falls, it's very similar to that, but it's not as busy. They won't got enough people to go there. So
you said you have to make a reservation. Does that cost money or anything?
No. You just it's free. They just make you reserve it just so that prevents erosion.
Gotcha.
Because they can only have so many people go on there before like things start falling and stuff like that. So it's both for safety,
graffiti, and everything else.
Yeah, I mean it's good for family. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
What'd you do this weekend?
Not much at all. Played a bunch of Halo and read a book.
What'd you read?
Read the Wu-Tang Manual. It's by RZA.
Okay.
So if you know much about Wu-Tang, then he's kind of the founder of the group, the ringleader, the producer, the general, whatever you want to call him. But the book goes into a lot of kind of how he handles the way he produces music, and for its time it was just a lot different. Of course, I mean, he obviously picked up heavy influence from martial arts, so there's a lot of martial arts sounds and things like that in his beats and samples from different martial arts movies. But just the way he talks about his artists and the art itself, he considers each artist a different instrument. So, almost like you would tune an instrument and you have a certain sound you're looking for on a song, he knows who he wants to be on a song like before they're even on it. And he talked about having different presets for each artist's voice and things like that, because he knew what kind of sound he was trying to create with it and what kind of sound that they worked best with.
That's awesome. So they really got into how they came up with the sound, their sound and everything, like the whole history of that.
Yeah, and he talked a bit about how a lot of times his beats weren't even on proper time, because back in the day it was hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars, for good equipment that could actually loop more than 10 or 15 seconds at a time. So he started out with a machine that could only loop 10 seconds at a time, and he would have to put it all together in different ways before laying a voice over it. But to make those beats, he was working with like 10-second loops.
That's great. He still made it work though.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And of course he eventually made his way to new equipment, and so then they really just took off. But one reason I decided to read the book is because I recently watched the show. It's just the Wu-Tang Clan and American Saga. It's on Hulu, and they actually did a really good job. I mean, obviously some of it's for dramatization, but overall they seem to have got a lot of the story right. And I haven't read it yet, but I bought RZA's second book, The Tao of Wu, so we'll see how that goes.
Looking forward to checking that one out.
Yeah. And one interesting thing to say about one of their members, Raekwon, also known as the Chef. A lot of times it was one of his nicknames. He signed with a distributor at Kentucky, a black-owned Kentucky liquor distributor, to start carrying his Licata sparkling wine line. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's interesting. Might have to try some of that. It says rich, bold, sparkling red wine. So, it's bottled and everything in Italy, it sounds like. Yep, in Italy, but we got a Kentucky company distributing for him.
We're gonna have to try some of that the next episode.
Yeah, the article also mentions that they carry some of E40's wines and stuff too. So the Earl Stevens line, it's by E40. So, you know, even though we don't always have a lot of artists coming from Louisville, rap in a heavy way has a huge influence in Louisville. So
Definitely in the food and the drink. Speaking of food, drink, kind of off subject, but hot sauces. Have you tried any new hot sauces here lately, Aaron?
man, you know I have. Come on.
Okay, well, what
I
are we
have a
working with? What
whole
are we talking
shelf
about?
of hot sauces in my refrigerator. I need a second one. This time around, what was it called? It was.
They're from here,
It's
right?
probably
They're
one
from
of-
Kentucky, right?
It's bottled actually just outside of Louisville. I can't remember exactly where it's at, but it's Peppers Are Paradise is the name of the company. And so I picked up the Green Ghost. I got it at a popular local butcher here off Preston, the Frank's Meat and Produce Market. They like to carry a lot of locally bottled stuff, but that Green Ghost, it's hot, but it has a lot of fruits mixed in, so it really balances the heat and the sweet, and of course supporting local business anytime we can. And they have a few things as far as peppers go. They have like hot pickles and a few different hot sauces too.
So they have it at Frank's Meat. They
Sell it,
okay.
so
So I can go there and get
they
it.
have it there, and I think they have it at the. I think their website says they have it at Kroger, because some Krogers have that local, Kentucky Proud.
Oh, okay. So they're
sections.
part of the Kentucky Proud.
Yeah,
okay,
they're part of the
that's
Kentucky
awesome.
Proud business, whatever. Trying to find their website real quick. Yeah, retail locations. So they're actually, you can find them at Liquor Barn, pretty much all the local liquor barns. Party Mart on Brownsboro.
Okay, awesome. So you can get that liquor that we was talking about earlier that's made.
Yeah,
Here we can also get that
probably so.
hot sauce same time.
So they're at a few different places. So if you like hot stuff and you're local, then you can definitely pick it up. You can get it online too, but I will say it's a little pricier, of course, shipping and handling, and with glass bottles, you just never know. It's always risky.
Yeah, that's good though. So for all the people watching out of state, you can definitely get it.
I didn't see this one last time I was on their website though. They have a bourbon barrel aged extreme hot sauce. So that's pretty.
Does it say the Scoville level?
It does not. It doesn't even say like what exact ingredients are in it. So who knows?
Give it a
But
try.
it's bourbon barrel aged and it's extreme. So that sounds good to me. All right.
You gotta embrace the silence. Oh, okay, we gotta embrace it for a second. Okay, this is dramatization at its finest. Okay.
Yeah. My bad. So
It start. We gotta get at least 5 seconds of it. Okay. Dude, speaking of.
I can't do this shit. I can't work like this.
Dude, speaking of local businesses, what comes to mind? There's a store out here in Louisville called Paradise Island Tea LLC. Have you heard of them?
Oh yeah, I think I've heard the name, but I don't really know anything about them.
They're awesome. You speaking of the Kentucky Proud section, that reminded me. They just made it there. I think a couple years ago. But I met the owner. She was actually my Uber driver when I was working at T-Mobile. She gave me a ride back and forth, and she was just really nice. And she gave me the card, and I followed them on Facebook. And then I walk in there to Kroger's, and I see them there. So it was just really cool to see that evolution, because I could tell at the time she was probably hustling, like she was promoting, like she was really promoting, and here she is, like really doing it. So
that's awesome.
Like I'm next time I'll make sure I have some tea on hand for you.
Yeah, we'll have to really hit that section so we can find some local businesses that we can really help push and promote. I mean, not necessarily, I guess, push and promote, but I mean, a little extra exposure definitely doesn't hurt anybody. And again, that's what we're here for, is to help people find local businesses and local events and parks and entertainment. So
gosh. Yeah, well, and actually they've been doing it since 2008, so they've been in it a long time, so they know what they're doing.
Life is a constant hustle.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Speaking of some other local stuff, I recently heard about a really awesome local charity. They're called the Dream Factory of Louisville. And so if you know anything about like Make-A-Wish, they're kind of Louisville's own Make-A-Wish Foundation. I saw recently they took a girl to Disney World for a few days. And so that's just really awesome to see things like that happening on a smaller, less corporate scale than like Make-A-Wish.
Where you can see it, and these are our neighbors we're talking about.
Pretty much,
so,
yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
You just don't know. Like, I didn't know about them, and so a lot of times I'd rather help, donate to a local charity if I'm going to donate money to charity or anything, or even try to donate my time. I want it to be local, try to improve our local community and
definitely
bettering the minds of everyone around in the community and the lives of those. I mean, so just thought I'd mention that too, because that was pretty
And how long have they been?
That I don't know. I will have to look it up.
And what was their names again?
The Dream Factory of Louisville.
Dream Factory of Louisville. That's awesome.
Yeah, so they're based downtown on West Chestnut.
Can you imagine that being a little kid or something, and then they make something like that happen for you? That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that would be really awesome. I don't see anything completely mentioning how long they've been around, but they so it's actually just a Dream Factory, but Louisville has a local chapter, it looks like. But if you just go to their website, there's ways to find, ways to volunteer or contribute in some way if you were to want to.
Awesome.
I just know that somebody I worked with a different charity, we're friends on Facebook, and I happened to see her working with the Dream Factory, so it's just really cool to know that people are out there helping these kids out, because they don't always have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, we definitely need people like that. A nice local charity that I'm very glad to see how much they've grown, ironically, to use that word, Louisville Grows. Have you heard of them?
I've heard of them. Yeah, don't really know much about them, though. What do they do?
What they do is that they'll plant like fruits and vegetables, trees, different things to try to create a more sustainable culture, that's specifically in more urban areas.
Gotcha.
So,
do they run that plot down off Taylor?
Exactly.
Right there, Bicknell and Taylor's.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
I guess there's a really cool relationship between them and the Save a Lot. The Save a Lot right in front of them. They're on Taylor. They're amazing. They're always doing things for the community. But part of the outreach is with Louisville Grows, where they took that plot, and it used to be a public housing. And what they did is they took it and they cleaned it all out, and they turned it into a place for fruits and vegetables and things like that. And it's right next to my stepson's school, so it's really cool to see them out there and see it start from seeds and really see it grow.
So that was awesome. Like they've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's something I'd like to start doing a little bit more of, is some personal gardening, just to cut down on some commercial use. I mean, even if you're not really making a dent as far as, yeah, they're still going to sell that stuff. Sometimes, like, you get corn, it's packaged in styrofoam and plastic, and that's just one more thing that we're throwing in the trash because you can't do anything with it, you know?
It's easy to forget about. Like, you don't think about it. Yeah, it's up. So
It does.
If you can take even just a little thing like that. Well, you've been growing peppers.
Trying
right?
to.
Have you been? How's that going?
I got a habanero that started. I think it's a red habanero plant. I started several habs and a ghost, and only that one habanero plant decided to sprout. So we're gonna have to try again. But I mean, I tried to throw them, just right in the soil with some water, a little bit of fertilizer, and I didn't really nurture the seeds to get the germination properly, I think. So it's all a learning experience, but working with nature is always an experience in and of itself, because you never know how it's gonna go.
Well, and I think if you go to that that Louisville Grows, that community organization, if you go there to their website, I think they have seeds that you can get for them, and they've been I'm pretty sure they are they're bred to germinate. Like they
Gotcha. You got a really good germination rate and everything.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's all flowers are gonna germinate, but these ones have a higher ratio, definitely.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool. Because that's always frustrating, because you spend the time and the money and the energy for it to not go anywhere sometimes. But again, it's all a learning process, and that's why a lot of people just start more than they think they're going to need. But I got the one going, so we'll see what happens with it.
So, are you gonna put these peppers? Are you gonna put them in your hot sauces, or what's the plan with them? Are these going on some of the chilling and Villin grilling?
The Ville grilling?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get some stuff up on there eventually. I've fallen off of that, but we'll get there. I do want to make some hot sauces at some point. That's why I wanted to have the ghost, to start experimenting with that. But I still have some ghosts left over from last year when Matt grew them. So,
man, those things are awesome too. If you've ever tried any kind of pepper flakes, the ones at like your pizza place or something like that,
yeah,
they have a little kick. But I crushed some of the peppers he made. Was those ghosts?
Yeah, those were ghosts.
Oh yeah, those ghosts. They were, man.
Definitely a lot hotter. It's a totally different ball game.
Yeah, definitely. It's that pizza had a kick to it, bro. Like,
oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've used them to make different, like, buffalo sauces real quick. So if you have a jar of hot sauce, all you need is butter and peppers, to make it a hotter buffalo sauce. Because that's essentially all buffalo sauce is butter, some extra flavorings, and just a hot sauce. So.
Right, and I knew that the other day. It's funny you said that. Me and Candace, we were at Union 15. We were getting pizza.
It's another good local place.
It is awesome. They have some really good pizza. And the day before, they had the buffalo sauce.
Mm-hmm.
So they had that orange. And then a day later, they brought out regular hot sauce, which they were awesome. The service was amazing. The food was amazing. It's just this time they brought out the hot sauce instead of the
buffalo.
The buffalo, right? Still just as good. But she was asking me how do they get it orange?
Yeah.
And I just had, I knew why. Like you said, it's the butter. The butter brightens up the red. You get that orange.
Yeah.
But I just sat there and I looked at it for about 5 minutes trying to figure out how you make that orange. It just wasn't making sense to me.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that and any kind of other peppers you might add. So what I did when I made the buffalo sauce, I like garlic a lot too. I like spicy garlic stuff. So I put 4 cloves of garlic, a bottle of Frank's hot sauce, a stick of butter, and then a couple of crushed up ghost peppers. And it was hot. Every bit of it was quite hot. Man.
And once you build up a tolerance, you don't know if it's hot or not, really. Like it's hot to us. If it's hot to us, that means it's gonna hurt somebody else.
It's
like,
gonna make somebody else cry.
Right. Like,
yeah, because we've definitely built that tolerance. That's why you'll hear us talking about a lot of ghost pepper stuff. But I mean, honestly, my tolerance is down. Habanero sauces are hot to me these days, but like back when I was really getting into the Hot Ones show and things like that, man, I was eating the Last Dab sauces, which is made with like Apollo peppers and Carolina Reaper peppers. I have several Reaper sauces in my refrigerator that I only touch them when I forget just how hot they are, and then I don't touch them again for months because
forget that tolerance build up.
All it takes is that one time to be like, nah, there's a reason I stick with the Ghost. But a lot of times the Ghost sauces, they just hit that happy medium for me. They're still gonna give me that burn, but they're still flavorful and enjoyable. And that's where that one that I mentioned that I picked up at Frank's, they just really did a really good job mixing those fruitier flavors with the Ghost.
That's a hard balance to get that flavor and still keep that heat.
Yeah.
Without the heat overbearing it.
And not even just like the flavor of the sauce, but maintain the flavor of what you're eating the sauce with. You know what I mean? Because a lot of, I'm going to call them out, I don't eat Tabasco. It's vinegar. It's just like vinegar with some cayenne pepper powder added to it or something. I don't know. That's what it tastes like to me. The sauce
every now and then
gets rid of the taste.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it, yeah.
That's why I like Frank's and like the Louisiana hot sauce and stuff like that. But even with those, they're so commercialized that you just don't get the depth of flavor profile that you do with these smaller name, small batch hot people making hot sauce. Because the ones doing it small batch like that, like the Peppers Are Paradise people, they're doing it because they want to. They're doing it out of passion. They're not trying to just increase their bottom line or whatever,
Well, these are people that probably went to the grocery and they saw what was there and it wasn't what they wanted. Like that's
It happens to me every time I go to the grocery, man.
Right, so they saw a need and they provided it, so that's awesome.
As long as you can find it, yeah. I got some other really cool ones. They're not necessarily local, and I can't think of them off the top of my head, but in the future, I'm sure I will make mention because they're just the best hot sauces that I've had. I guess that's about all we have for today. We've covered a lot of topics, but kind of gives you an idea of what we're about. So that's all I have for today. Again, my name's Aaron.
I'm Jack. If any of you guys have any ideas or anything as far as people to be on the show, we are going to be doing interviews. We do have a couple ideas already in mind, but if you have any kind of topics or anything like that, let us know. We got the YouTube, the Facebook, the Instagram.
Yeah, and any products too. If you find anything cool in those Kentucky Proud sections,
businesses
definitely let us know. So I guess that's all for today. Be blessed. Bless someone around you.
See you next week.